I will credit the terrific work of two Americans, Sasha Latypova, Latypova, Sasha Latypova, like me, a retired pharma executive. She worked in development, I was in research. And a legal scholar called Catherine, with a K, Watt. Catherine Watt, W-A-T-T. They write on Substack. They have uncovered the fact that vaccines have never been intended to reduce diseases or to help you. They have always been what I have determined the COVID shots to be, which is materials that harm you and do you no good. And of course, that's so horrifying that you think, oh my word, all of them? Yep, all of them. I'm not saying they're all as dangerous as COVID jabs, but none of them were good. And rather than trusting me, go and read the work of Sasha Latypova and Catherine Watt, and then it's up to you to decide, okay? If you think that's wrong, that's fine. But one thing Sasha and others discovered, and they shared it with me before they even published it, and as soon as they told me, I knew it was right. Can you remember a time, those of you who are over 60, I'm nearly 65, can you remember a time when you were young when very few people were allergic to peanuts? And very few people were allergic to anything. You probably can, can't you, older folk like me? What we discovered is that if you inject a person with a foreign protein like peanut oil, if you inject a person with tiny doses of that, especially if you do it 2 or 3 times, that person becomes fiercely allergic for life to peanuts. Imagine if you were to inject a whey protein from milk in a tiny dose, so small that you probably wouldn't even notice it on the ingredients list. And if you injected that into your child a couple of times, when they grew up, they might end up, not all of them, but many of them will grow up allergic to milk and milk products and anything that's got whey protein in it. Imagine if they injected you with a beef protein that came from plasma, for example. You often see that in products. A tiny dose, a really tiny dose, so small it'll be off the bottom of the ingredients list, and you injected that person twice with it, they'll become intolerant to meat. Unfortunately, that is all true. All of those ingredients have been found in at least one of the vaccines on the vaccine schedule in America, and they're pretty much global products. These diabolical people have included components in the jabs that your children have been given and you may have received that were designed to sensitize you to every single basic food item. You know, to wheat, to corn, to beef, to chicken, to milk. That's why the number of people, I think like 1 in 3 people has some kind of allergy. It's like, they didn't, when I was young, they didn't. Sasha Latypova was born in the USSR, and as she said in her fruity Russian, she said, when I was young, no one had allergies. When she came to America, I think in the 80s, it was like, what gives? And so she was probably perfectly poised to spot this. And so she discovered this, and she noticed that a scientist called, I think it was Charles Richet, something like that, 1902, 1905, given a Nobel Prize for discovery of this mechanism. If you give tiny doses of foreign protein into a person separated by 2 weeks, they become violently and permanently allergic to that substance. You know, even if you touch it on the skin or put it just in your mouth, on your tongue, or certainly if you eat it, you've got a worse than evens chance of having an allergic response to it. These people have sensitized you, those of you who've been vaccinated, to large amounts of the natural environment. I mean, how diabolical is that? And it's exactly the same mechanism as I called out in 2020 about the COVID jabs. Remember I said that if you ask the human body to make a protein that doesn't belong in you, a non-self protein, a so-called spike protein, wherever it came from, I said if you do that, it will make you, your body will cause an autoimmune reaction, or your body will then make foreign material. Your immune system will say, what the hell is that? And will attack it. So it's like a failed organ transplant. It's autoimmunity. That's what has happened through the the whole history of vaccination back from the late 1700s to the present day.